Welcome to psychology, basically the user manual for being human that somehow nobody included in the box. In the next 6 minutes, you'll understand why you think, feel, remember, choose, panic, procrastinate, fall in love, and sometimes sabotage yourself. And we'll start with something strange. Your brain doesn't show you reality exactly as it is. It builds its own version of reality using incomplete information. Your eyes, ears, skin, and other senses send signals, but your brain decides what deserves your attention. It fills in missing pieces, predicts what should happen next, and ignores almost everything it considers unimportant. 5 seconds ago, you probably weren't thinking about the feeling of your clothes touching your skin. Now you are, even though that sensation was there the entire time. Your brain simply decided it wasn't important enough to show you, and it does exactly the same thing when you look at other people. You meet someone for a few seconds, and your brain instantly notices their face, voice, clothes, posture, and expression. Before you really know them, it has already started writing a story about who they are. Smart, arrogant, trustworthy, dangerous, attractive, boring, confident, strange. This is why first impressions feel so powerful, even when they're completely wrong. Your brain doesn't like waiting for all the information. It prefers a quick guess. And that brings us to cognitive biases, the shortcuts your brain uses to make decisions faster. One of the biggest is confirmation bias. Once you believe something, you naturally notice evidence that supports it and ignore evidence that challenges it. Imagine someone you love doesn't answer your message for 3 hours. You might think they're probably busy. Now imagine someone you already dislike does exactly the same thing. Suddenly your brain says, "See, I knew they were rude." Same behavior. Different story. Your brain wasn't searching for the truth. It was protecting what you already believed. Then there's the halo effect. When someone impresses us in one area, we often assume they're impressive in other areas too. They're attractive, so maybe they're smarter. They speak confidently, so maybe they actually know what they're talking about. Give them expensive clothes, perfect lighting, and a microphone, and suddenly your brain is ready to trust them. Confidence and competence are not the same thing, but your brain sometimes forgets that. Now let's talk about memory, because this is where things get even worse. You probably imagine your memories as little videos stored somewhere inside your head, but your memory doesn't work like a camera. Every time you remember something, your brain reconstructs the event from pieces, and every time it reconstructs the event, some of those pieces can change. Details disappear, emotions get stronger or weaker, and things you learned later can sneak into the original memory. That's why two people can experience the same argument and remember completely different versions. Both can be absolutely certain that they're right, and sometimes neither one is deliberately lying. They're simply remembering two different edits of the same event. The scary part is that confidence doesn't guarantee accuracy. A memory can feel incredibly real and still be wrong. Your brain is also obsessed with saving energy, so when you repeat something enough times, it tries to turn that behavior into an automatic habit. Remember the first time you drove a car? You had to think about the steering wheel, mirrors, pedals, signs, other cars, and about 17 different ways you could accidentally die. Later you can drive home while thinking about dinner and barely remember the journey. Your brain moved much of the behavior onto autopilot. That's extremely useful when the habit is driving, brushing your teeth, or tying your shoes. It's less useful when the habit is checking your phone every 30 seconds. Most habits follow a simple pattern. Trigger, behavior, reward. You hear a notification, you grab your phone, and maybe there's something interesting waiting for you. The important word is maybe. Unpredictable rewards are incredibly powerful because your brain keeps wondering whether the next attempt will pay off. Maybe the next video is hilarious. Maybe someone messaged you. Maybe the next post is exactly what you were looking for. Probably not, but maybe. And your brain loves maybe. This is also connected to dopamine. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but it's more useful to think of it as part of the system that drives wanting and pursuit. The anticipation can sometimes feel more powerful than actually receiving the reward. You spend weeks wanting a new phone, finally buy it, and a few days later it's just your phone. You want more money, more attention, more followers, a better job, a bigger house. Then you get something you wanted, your brain adjusts, and the finish line quietly moves again. This is one reason humans can spend years chasing something without ever feeling like they've finally arrived. Now let's talk about emotions. Your emotions are not random problems your brain created to annoy you. They are ancient systems designed to help you survive. Fear tells you there may be danger. Anger tells you something may be threatening your boundaries. Disgust helps you avoid things that could harm you. The problem is that these systems evolved long before emails, deadlines, social media, and awkward first dates. So your brain can sometimes react to a modern problem as if you're about to be attacked by a predator. Your boss sends, "Can we talk?" And suddenly your brain has written an entire disaster movie. You're being fired. Your career is over. You'll lose everything. You'll live under a bridge. Then your boss says, "Do you know where the presentation file is?" Your emotional system is fast, but fast doesn't always mean accurate. That's why one of the most useful psychological skills is learning to separate a feeling from a fact. Feeling rejected does not automatically mean someone rejected you. Feeling afraid does not automatically mean you're in danger. Feeling like everyone is judging you does not mean everyone is actually thinking about you. In fact, most people are far too busy thinking about themselves. Which brings us to social psychology. You probably think of yourself as an independent person making your own decisions. Unfortunately, other humans are constantly influencing you. When everyone around you believes something, your own certainty can start to weaken. When a group starts laughing, you're more likely to laugh. If everyone on the street suddenly looks into the sky, there's a good chance you'll look too. If thousands of people say a restaurant is amazing, you may question your own taste when you hate the food. Humans copy other humans because for most of history, belonging to the group helped keep you alive. Your brain is constantly asking an invisible question: what do people like me do? That question influences the clothes you wear, the things you buy, the people you date, and even the opinions you consider normal. And sometimes the strongest influence comes from people you don't even know. A stranger gets thousands of likes, and suddenly their opinion feels more important. Something becomes popular, and suddenly it starts looking better. When lots of people approve of something, your brain assumes there must be a reason. But popularity is evidence of popularity, not necessarily evidence of truth. Now we get to personality. You might think there is one permanent version of you hidden somewhere inside your brain. But personality is more flexible than that. Who you are comes from biology, childhood, culture, relationships, experiences, habits, and thousands of small events you barely remember. Some people naturally seek excitement. Others prefer stability and quiet. Some worry easily. Some stay calm under pressure. Some trust quickly. Others need much more time. But personality is not a prison sentence. People change as they age, experience new environments, build new habits, and form new relationships. And this is probably the most important part of psychology. Understanding why you behave a certain way does not mean you have to keep behaving that way. Once you notice a pattern, you finally have a chance to interrupt it. You can notice when fear is pretending to be a prediction, when memory is pretending to be a recording, when confidence is pretending to be intelligence, when habit is pretending to be a decision, when popularity is pretending to be truth. And when your brain says, "This is just who you are," you can ask whether that's actually true. Because psychology isn't really about learning secret tricks to control other people. It's about understanding the invisible systems that have been controlling you. Your thoughts, emotions, habits, memories, fears, relationships, and decisions all feel completely personal. But underneath them are patterns shared by billions of human brains. And the more you understand those patterns, the easier it becomes to notice when your own brain is playing tricks on you. Your brain has been running the show since the day you were born. Now at least, you finally met the director.